In today's video, we're going to be talking about the World Handicap system. Now, in the past, there were 6 systems around the world used to measure players' handicaps, and most of them would be different from the other. So the USGA and R&A is introducing the World Handicap system, which is designed to make a more inclusive and unified system for all golfers around the world. Now, what does this mean? What changes are we expected to see in our handicaps? Well, I don't think you're going to see a huge change in your handicap, especially if you're here in America under the USGA format, but there are a few things that you should be aware of. Number one, and in my opinion, probably the biggest change you're going to see is the maximum score that you're allowed to enter from each hole. Now, under the new World Handicap system, that's going to be a net double bogey. So it doesn't matter what your index is, doesn't matter what tees you're playing from, men or women, you can only take a maximum of net double bogey. So this is going to really help. Number one, in my opinion, I think it's going to help speed up pace of play. So if you're at that net double bogey, you can just go ahead and pick up. And I think it's going to really help with sandbagging a little bit. But if you're somebody who is maybe a higher handicapper, you're half decent on most holes, but you have 4 or 5 blow-up holes per round, the odds are your handicap is going to drop a little bit. That's good news for the bragging, might not be such good news in those member guests. Now, the next point I want to bring up is the maximum handicap index that a player can have. Now, that new number is 54 for both men and women. The old number here for the USGA system was 36.4 for the men and 40.4 for the women. So that's going to go way up. That's really going to help the beginner golfers or the golfers who aren't as good, they don't play as much, to keep their handicaps. There was a statistic that only 10 to 15% of golfers here in America kept their handicap. So I think bumping the number up should help that percentage. Now, one of the coolest changes that they're going to make to the handicap system, in my opinion, is they're going to take into account extreme fluctuations of scores and weather conditions on any given day on the course. So out here at Atlantic City Country Club, depending on what the weather's doing, this course can play 10 to 15 shots harder from one day to the next. So if you're out here, say in the summertime, it's blowing 40-mile-per-hour wind and everyone on the course is shooting, say, 10 shots higher than they should, then the handicap system is going to take that into account. So your score might not really bump up even though you shot, say, an 85 when you think you should have shot a 75. So that's a really cool change that they're going to make. They have some sort of algorithm that's going to calculate that for us. Now, handicaps will be adjusted daily under the World Handicap system instead of like the USGA would do bi-weekly. So on the 1st and the 15th of every month, our handicaps will be adjusted. Now it's daily. So I think that's a really cool change. So we're going to really see kind of instant feedback from day to day as we post our scores. Now, another change is each golfer will have a playing handicap, which will be adjusted according to your slope, course rating, and the par of your course. But more often than not, your course handicap and your playing handicap is going to be pretty much the same. So there it is, guys, the World Handicap system. It's going to be interesting to see just how much our handicaps will change with this new system. But let's go over these quick points again. Number one, our handicaps will be updated daily instead of bi-weekly. The maximum handicap is now 54. The maximum score that you're allowed to enter on each hole is a net double bogey. Each player will have a playing handicap depending on the slope, course, and par rating. And they're going to adjust for extreme fluctuations in score and weather conditions. So I hope you learned a little bit about the World Handicap system. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next episode.